HOTA is a place to express everything about culture.
It represents the very DNA of us as a community.
It speaks to those who are really interested in art, and it actually appeals to those who aren't that interested in art.
There's nothing more important than arts and culture in the way that it brings people together.
Culture is really about people. Culture is what you do every day. Culture is having a swim in the lake or seeing a great show at the gallery.
The Gold Coast is built on colourful characters that have had ambition and vision. What the brief did was strongly nail what we require as a city. A place of citizenship, a place for the people.
People who want to come here for a family picnic, those people who just want to come here and sit somewhere quietly on their own to read a book or go for a run. It speaks to everyone, and it's a really inclusive home.
But one of the terrific things about the Gold Coast is that it's a city that's constantly in change. We knew that the Arts Precinct was going to be a series of projects, and we needed to come up with a master plan that could cope with this change. We were looking for a device, and we came across this wonderful geometry of the Voronoi, which is inherent in nature and sets a loose framework for development and for each of the projects that have happened at HOTA today.
The hardest thing for an engineer is to make something random. Maths is about picking patterns. To actually do something random is really challenging. The voronoidal shape is actually quite useful. There's a science and a mathematical equation to it.
We imagined the outdoor stage as a place that could host activities of all different scales, whether it's a few kids playing on the edge of the steps through to the Queensland Ballet or a rave. So it's a wonderful, versatile environment.
Even when it's not in use as a stage, it actually still has a purpose.
It's got this phenomenal garden and great views of surface paradise.
It was actually designed to look organic, but we also had to try to make sure that there was some level of symmetry. So there was lots of parameters that we put into our model to get an efficient structural solution.
The green bridge which connects HOTA through to Thomas Drive and Chevron Island means that it's a terrific place for biking and walking.
Itself is a nice journey over the water. It really encourages people to not get in their car. That promotes active travel. It promotes people and families doing things together. That ends up in a really successful precinct. We have such an amazing climate here. It's something we should really be enjoying.
What we want is that you come and swim in the lake, you have a picnic, and then we don't mind if you bring your sandy feet into the gallery spaces. The precinct and the architecture of this place encourages that sense of playfulness of the whole experience.
Where else can you go for a swim in your board shorts, dry down and then walk through some of Australia's best art?
The HOTA Gallery takes its inspiration from William Robinson's rainforest. It's colourful, it's intriguing. It is very much a beacon for the arts and cultural ambition of the Gold Coast.
It tries to say, hey, look at me, come here, there's something fascinating going on. That's an interesting thing to do in a city that has 40-storey skyscrapers as its defining feature. One of the traditions of the city, though, is real embrace of colour, and that's been part of the story of the Gold Coast for a very long time. There is certainly people who are afraid of colour, and we wonder why, because it's one of the biggest tools in the built environment. It's inherent in nature. Why shouldn't it be inherent in architecture?
Architecture should evoke emotion. It shouldn't be something that's bland and nondescript. It should be something that is a conversation point, and even a conversation point where you can say, I don't like it.
On the outside, it's bright, it's glossy, it's unapologetic, but when you come inside, it's smart and it's sophisticated and it's not what you would expect, but that's the Gold Coast.
The inside's really a sanctuary, and the art takes over the role that the architecture does inside. High-rise defines what the city really is. In what other city could you have a vertical gallery?
We invite visitors to start at the very top. When you get up there, it's like no other view on the Gold Coast.
We always imagined that the gallery needs to be a real journey, not a single moment. Having a series of intimate experiences with art in bite-sized pieces. So you can go and immerse yourself for 15 minutes and then break out and get to that fantastic stair and enjoy the view.
One of the key things was the integration of the engineering and the architecture to allow you to really experience the building in its entirety, and the importance for the site to connect back to the skyline. We made sure that you could really appreciate the view.
And then there's a children's gallery and the main exhibition gallery, which enables international standard shows through there.
When you come to an art gallery, you get to see the art hung on the wall, the beautiful spaces that are designed. But a really nice thing here is that there's a little peek-through window where you can have a look at the workings of the building. The behind-the-scenes stuff is always intriguing. And I don't think there's too many other art galleries in the world that actually have that.
HOTA's responsibility is to translate the design and the architecture into the experience that people have here. It's a place where our lifestyle and art and culture and those human experiences collide.
The nighttime character of the precinct's enormously important. How the lighting scheme can change and respond to each of the events is absolutely critical. We imagined a precinct that was buzzing with activity, having dinner at a restaurant, or maybe it's a nighttime viewing of the gallery. The most exciting thing is we're only halfway there. The master plan includes a ferry terminal, the HOTA Theatre Complex, a new performing arts theatre and studio theatres, and other types of spaces perhaps we haven't even invented yet.
This place belongs to us today, but it is actually for future generations because it is the place that holds our stories, the echoes of the past, but the promise of the future. It's a special place.
One of the reasons why I did engineering was about having a legacy and actually being able to do projects that lasted beyond you.
I've always been fascinated by how to make place and how to contribute to the city and how to build communities. And that's what architecture does best. It's about places for people.